Welcome everyone! This video is the first in a series of interviews where I'll talk about creativity, motivation and everything moving around those things. Life in general, I guess. My first guest is the model, makeup icon, the YouTuber and also my friend Adora BatBrat.
Yay! Hi Simon! Hello!
Today we'll talk about modeling, we'll talk about YouTube, music, and we'll have some questions also from the audience.
I'm scared!
From Instagram. People have been sending in questions through the internet, through Instagram to you. But before starting with those subjects, I would like to ask you something else. And that is that when reading your social media, it's quite common that we see that people refer to you as a Goth Queen.
Yes.
Or the Goth Queen. But you yourself don't actually identify with being that kind of Goth Queen. Or
a queen, of course, and an icon, of course. I totally, that's so me. I'm very grateful that people call me an icon and a queen. But Goth, no, because in Sweden I'm actually called a syntare. And that's a completely different thing. But since like the style is called Goth, like
you mean your fashion?
Oh yeah, the fashion. Yeah. And so that's why they're probably, because when you're from Sweden then you call a syntare, and if you listen to like Goth music then you call a svartrockare, or I don't know.
Goffare.
Goffare. I don't know. I call them svartrockare. And when all of a sudden I became international, people called me Goth, and I'm like, no, I wear short skirts, not long skirts. I don't look like Morticia Adams. I look weird.
Anyway, what you're trying to say is that for you, what you're talking about is synth is more of a music genre and something that you identify with. But in this interview, we'll be talking about Goth because as an umbrella term,
that is
to be
like
easier for all of you watching this, we'll just use Goth for
I'm like an electro Goth, so that's part of the Goth.
Because if we'll be talking about synth, people will just be confused. So we talk about Goth.
Yes, and if I'm a queen, I can be called Goth Queen. That's good, perfectly fine with me.
A princess queen, I've heard that you want to.
I am.
So let's talk a little bit more about that actually. How did you become a syntare or a Goth?
Okay, I was 12 years old, and I was during summers I always went with my grandma and grandpa, and I had a summer friend there called Ulrika, and I was 12, and she had like this mixed tape that she was given from a boy that she was a little bit in love with, and she put it in when I was there, and the first notes I'm like, oh, stop the world, what's this? And it was Depeche Mode. And I became a fan, like, stop looking at my boobs. And
I'm looking at your microphone.
Yeah, right. And I fell in love instantly, and I found home. So I started listening only to Depeche Mode, and I found out there was also a subculture.
So when was this?
I was 12 and it was 19. Oh, you want to hear the year? Okay, 1984. Do the math.
So what was it about for you, or why did it come
It was so clean, and it was like something I never heard before, because everything else was like rock and guitars, or like I usually listen to something called Drutten and Jena. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's like it's child music. So I went from child music to Depeche Mode, and the thing was it was very structured, it was clean and very nice sound. So I think that's, you're looking at my boobs, and that's what I fell in love with.
So and you fell for the music, and then you also found the fashion.
I found out that it was a subculture attached to this, and then it became even worse. Like, so when I started, my seventh degree,
7th grade,
seventh grade, then I wasn't allowed to wear makeup before that by my horrible mom, but then I was allowed. So like I went from 0 to in a week, and I was a syntare, and I still am.
So if looking at pictures of you through the years, you can see that you've had quite a style, I wouldn't say evolution, but transformation.
Yeah.
have there been any time that you thought, I'm going to abandon this totally, I'm going with the total mainstream blue jeans and...
The blue jeans? Are you kidding me? Never, no. Like, I started dressing black when I was 12 and I never stopped since, because black is the shit. No, I never turned back. Well, it was hard for me because I was a synter and we usually looked like little boys. That was the time of the 1980s. Everyone was very androgynous.
Yeah, you had the military boots.
Yeah, I had like short hair. I had black shirts with a tie and what's it called? Hingslen. Suspense. And tight black pants and then high boots. Yeah. So we all looked like boys. And so the biggest change for me was to start wearing skirts. And I usually wear very short skirts. My mom referred to them as belts. And but for me to wear a long skirt for the first time in my life, that was so weird because that was a goth thing. We don't do that. I can do it now.
So that's so interesting to hear. You've been in this for a little bit longer than I have. And I wish we could talk a little bit more about that, but I will actually change the subject.
Moving on.
Talk about modeling, because that's also been something that you've been doing for quite some time.
Yes.
How did it start?
Well, I never wanted to be a model, actually. I just slipped in, like, on a banana peel. It was a friend's sister's boyfriend who was a very renowned photographer in Stockholm. He usually shot models and commercials and do, like, big Volvo and commercials and stuff like that. And he thought that I was very interesting in both my looks and the way that I was. Like, he said that the personality came out good on pictures. So he started taking pictures of me. And before that, I also had been a croquis model, a nude model for art classes, because a body is just a body, and I thought it was fun. So I never planned to become a model, but I always say yes when someone asks me because I think it's fun. Yeah.
So why do you think it's fun? Why do you like it?
Oh, it's fun because then it's a documentary of the time. Because when you do makeup, you wash it away in the evening and then it's gone forever. So if you have like great makeup, it's also always good to have like a picture from it and you can, whoa, I looked fantastic that day. I usually fangirl myself.
So I actually saw someone wrote that on the internet just a couple of days ago, and I guess that you can probably identify a bit with that, like posting pictures of your makeup on the internet. It's not only a question of vain. It's more rather than it's documenting your art or.
Well, part of it is true nowadays, but when I started, it was because so many people didn't think that a person like me existed. Like when I started on MySpace, everyone thought like, oh, you can't look like that for real. They thought it was like something I did for the camera. I made myself up like that, took a picture and posted it. But I'm like, no, I do this like 7 days a week. I look like this. If I go to my kids' school, if I'm at home cooking dinner, I'll look like this. So actually I started to post a picture just to show people that I actually look like this. I'm a real person. I'm not like something made up.
But is it still like that?
No, it's changed over time because now it's more, like you said, a documentary of the looks.
Documentation.
Documentation. Because I have so short-term memory, so I used to go back and fangirl myself because I can't relate that it's pretty me on the pictures. That girl is far too prettier than I am.
So you use your social media actually as it's kind of your
for my own
coffee table book.
Yeah, my own diary, I can say. Yeah.
And I mean, that's what we see is mostly what you yourself produce. But what I would like to hear a little bit more about. I mean, the feeling of working together with a photographer or with projects that when it's not only you who decide.
Oh yeah, when you like model, when you're just a body. Well, that's quite challenging sometimes because like I usually work a lot with this photographer, Telly Savage. She's very famous here in Sweden. And she have always these quirky ideas. She can post pictures of me with wearing dress made of hair, for example. And that's not something I would ever do. But I think it's very, very funny. And it's also a bit of challenging for me. And I think it's nice to try to come up with a makeup that fits all this crazy outfits that she does. Nothing I would like put in my private diary for something like, ooh, this was me. But I still find it's quite interesting. It's fun.
So what you're trying to say is that you kind of like the part of being a model, just being a body, but in the same time, the expression of making yourself beautiful is still part of your life.
Yeah, because that's what I do every morning. Like I know that many people are like me, like they really enjoy doing the makeup. It's a hobby. It's what makes you feel like you're alive. So I think for me, the self is more important than like being on magazines and stuff. I'm a very lazy model, I have to say. Yeah.
Which way do you mean that you're lazy?
Well, because I know many people like they work really to get on in magazines and try to post pictures everywhere and like get known in the business. I'm very, very lazy. I do it for my own self-pleasure. I do it because I think it's fun. Yeah.
And let's continue then.
Yeah.
I would like to talk a little bit about YouTube. Because you've been at YouTube for quite a while, and while you might have been doing less things with YouTube lately, you were doing YouTube back in 2007. You started your channel.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And back in that time, YouTube was very, very much smaller now. And I actually checked your numbers.
Oh.
You got your first 2 million views in the first 2 years.
Wow. Really?
And seen from
I never know these things because I don't care about it.
See, from the perspective of today, that's maybe not that much to get them 2 million views in 2 years. But back in 2007, I would say that it was quite huge, and you were kind of one of the biggest icons, alternative icons on the platform.
Thank you.
So I would like to ask you, why did you start to produce YouTube videos?
Well, it was actually because of my husband, because I remember, as I said, I started on the MySpace and I got all these questions all the time, similar questions. Do you really look like this? How do you do in your makeup?
For any youngsters out there, MySpace was a social community.
Like Facebook, but MySpace.
Before Facebook.
Yeah, you can say that. Yeah, and so I continuously answered the same questions about my makeup. And also I noticed that people were actually very, in the goth community, it was very like sad and depressed and always this negativity, like a lot of people getting bullied. And I got asked a lot of questions. How do you make yourself feel happy every day if people just push you down? And how can you continue to look this way if your parents don't like it, for instance? And for me, this was very weird questions because I never realized it. I don't know if because I grew up in the right time in the 80s when everyone was supposed to be your individualist. And also I lived in a small town and we were quite open-minded. So I never had any problem. I had never been bullied. I actually always get cute comments on town. So then I figured, like, why are people so sad all the time? And then my husband said, but you're always so happy, and why don't you share your energy? Why don't you start posting on YouTube and make people see that you can actually be like embracing yourself and loving to be different and don't care about what other people say, just care about how your heart feels. So that's actually why I started. And I did have one sneaky agenda too. And it was to spread good synth music, because I figured that many people have not heard all this good 80s music. So I started to sneak them in my videos as well.
So why do you do it less now?
Mainly it's because I have 3 kids, and that has taken a lot of time. Like I had one one of my children, she got very, very sick in the year 2010, 2009 something. Yeah, she got like deadly ill, and I never posted it on social media, so it's a bit difficult. But that's one of the main reasons that I actually started posting less, because I needed to take care of her like all day. Yeah. But I'm trying to get back.
That's quite some time since.
Yeah, but she was sick for many years. It took like 3 years before she was okay again. So she's been healthy for about 3 years now, from the doctors like cleared. So I'm trying to get back out there.
Yeah. I think it's interesting what you're saying, because it's mainly one of my agendas as well, to spread happiness and encourage people to get out instead of just sitting at home waiting
see the
for
positive things instead of the negative things. Yes.
I think that's. I mean, for me, it is very true that. Of course, not everyone has the same preconditions and possibilities, or like
depending on what country you live in as well. We are very blessed.
But there is nothing that will get better just for waiting for someone else to fix these problems. And I think that is for sure it's unfair, but that's the way it is.
Yeah, and if you are alternative, it's within you. You can't change like the inner core of you. If you are alternative, you really need to embrace it to feel good. I tried to look normal for like half a year, and I felt so bad. It was the worst half year of my life. So you really need to be yourself, actually.
Let's talk about music.
Yay, music!
You're not only a passionate. You need to sit still, because
what the fuck? I want to move around.
I think that the only thing that the audience will hear is bling, bling, bling.
Okay.
Let's talk about music.
Yay.
You're not only a passionate music lover, but also a music creator.
Yes, actually.
And I think that there are many that follows you on social media that knows about your recent projects.
Yeah.
But the truth is that you have actually been doing this for a long time.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I started writing music for a band when I was 16. And that first song that I made was recorded, so it's on a CD. You can actually hear it on the internet, but not my version. But I might post it just because of this video, just to make, just for a special treat for you. It's very bad at singing because I sing very bad. But yeah, so I always liked to do my own music. I can't do music like this, but I can, like in my mind, I can hear stuff and I can tell other people, do this, do that, change the sound into this and that, and drums need to go like this. And I usually do like the lyrics, and I do the voiceover, I sing it. And then like for this first band, it was another singer. And so I just sent the tape to him and he recorded it. So I love that. And then after that, I've had 3 other bands as well. And many of those songs...
What's the name of them?
Okay, one was called... You bastard! I'm gonna spank you after this. Okay, one was called Fageredsgränd. That means what is it? Like strange reality, I think it means in English. It's very difficult, but it's a German word. Fageredsgränd. And also after that I had a little bit other project, and it was called Dead Faint. And I also had a very, very, very super secret project that was called Säpo. Säpo is the name of the secret police in Sweden. And that project is so secret that no one ever heard about it. But many of the songs from both Fageredsgränd, Dead Faint and Säpo moved on to the other band, my hobby band, Asperger Syndrome, that I have. And then now the Asperger Syndrome is a hobby project, so it's not like I never tried to go anywhere with it. I had a few concerts because I
just want to have fun.
Yeah, I want to have fun, like the most part of my life. But now I have this chance to perform in a new band that I was approached by Benjamin. So we have this new Aberrant Behavior band, and hopefully this is a serious project. So hopefully we will be going somewhere. Yeah.
So I actually got a question about this.
Yeah.
So what will happen to Asperger's syndrome now?
Oh, it will stay because I know a lot of people like, oh, what's happening? Are you killing Asperger's syndrome? But no. Asperger's syndrome is still on. And actually I have one planned released for a song that I know many people want to hear, and it's the A Broken Me. So it's going to be up with a video as soon as I make it. You know, I'm very lazy, so it's going to be like...
In 3 years or something?
Yeah, hopefully. Perhaps before summer. I'm actually... Everything is recorded. I have all the clips for the video, but I just need to do it. I have 3 kids, you know.
Yeah. And any news on the aberrant behavior?
Yes, we are going to release one more single at least this January. You heard a little bit of it in 2 of my latest YouTube videos, I think, Get Hurt. And so yeah, that's going to be out. And we also, like your band, are doing an EP. And we might have a gig planned this summer.
That's super nice.
Yeah.
How come you have been doing music more or less your whole life?
Yeah.
For 30 years.
Yeah,
I mean,
in the background.
Almost. Why?
I like it. It's because it's also a creative part of... Like, I'm a very creative person. I like to paint, I like to bake, I like to make food, I like to make furniture, and I like to make music. I think most people that are creative in many different areas. Yeah.
So let's move on to the questions from the audience.
Oh no!
Or
so
rather the questions from my Instagram page.
Okay.
I'm
ready.
Yeah.
Shoot.
So there were a lot of questions about actually being a parent.
Oh.
So I think we'll start with those. And I've been trying to like put the questions together, so there might be questions from several people coming into one single one.
I'll try to answer the best I can.
So there's one person asking, let's start with a more depressing one, that wrote that she's from a city or a country where she felt that kids with special looking or special parents...
special parents.
Alternative looking or
odd looking.
Yeah. That their kids would get bullied in school and things like that. So she wanted to ask, how do you feel about, or what's the case of being a goth mom in Sweden?
Well, I live in a quite small town where only 70,000 people in my town. And I live like in the center of the town, and also my kids go to school in the center of town, like 2 minutes from where I live. And it's a very like open school. And since it's a very small town, most of the parents have seen me on town for many years. Yeah, so they know about me, and they are very like, all the other parents and the teachers are very friendly, and they treat me like any other parents, because when you're at school, I'm the parent. And also my kids, well, let me just say like this, I'm a superstar when I come to school. They treat me, my kids treat me like I'm their own personal living Monster High doll. So I can't just turn up wearing no makeup, then they will yell at me. But actually my kids do not get bullied because of how I look, because at their school it's very open and they work very much against bullying at this school. And I think if it was to become a problem at school, I would be very willing to go there and talk to them and share like my experience, because often it's because you're scared of something, you don't know about it, and that's why they bully. And also I think it's because of the parents. I think most also is because of the parents. If the parents are good parents, then they would teach the kids to be good kids. And I think that's how it is at my kids' school. Everyone is very, very nice, actually.
That's very heartwarming to hear.
Yeah.
But
I feel sorry for the other ones.
Yeah, I think that this is a combination between like the society in general, and you have obviously managed to be living in a place that is...
I'm a girl with luck.
But I think that you also... I think it helps for you to have like this very positive and energy, and that you don't turn up. I mean, I think that you just don't really care.
No, no.
And I think that's visible in your energy. So I think it's harder
to put me down.
Yeah, because you are so you have this self-confident aura around you.
It's not self-confident. It's just like in my world, I think like, who is the most important person in my life? Well, it's me. So I don't actually care what other people say about me, because that's not important. As long as I love me, I'm happy.
And I think that's visible, and I think it helps.
Oh.
Actually, I think...
Maybe.
Yeah, I think so. And that's not always the easiest thing, of course, to say that just be self-confident, blah, blah, blah. But I think it helps. And now you also answered my second question. What your kids think about your style. Then,
they love it. They love it. I can tell. They love it. Yeah.
So let's have the last parenting question. The question is, you...
I used to have 4 kids, and I did eat the 4th of them. Yes, it's true. Not what you were going to ask?
No.
Okay.
So let's continue with another question from the internet. I think this is from quite a young person, because the person is asking, do you have any advices for a baby back or a young person that wants to find their place in a subculture?
Advice? Well, is it for the style or no?
Not specified, but you could answer what do you think is important.
I know, like for me, it's like if you're looking for the style advice, I think it's like pick something that makes you happy. If you want to look exclusive, or if you want to look like they have so many cool styles. If you go to just pick a person on the internet and just take their style and make it yours and make it better. That's what you do. But like try to really feel that it's you. When like it's good to try out different things. Like I used to do when I was what you call a baby bat. Then I used to practice the makeup before bedtime. So no one would look at these horrible results if I really made fupa. But like try it out and see what you like and what type of goth you want to be. Like you can be like really like there's this uber cool goth. I will never be a cool goth. I can never be cool. And they have this very girly goth. You have this like industrial techno whatever. Just find a style that really applies to you, like you feel like that's you. You will find your own home. I'm certain about it. Just try out everything, and eventually you'll be yourself.
Okay, that's a good answer, I think.
No, I think it's a horrible answer, but it works.
No, but I think it's important because it's basically about. I think that it is about feeling like yourself.
Yeah, you need to find the inner you and show it on the outside.
Then you will do it for a year, and then you will get tired of it because it's not you.
Yeah,
if you just want to do something for attention or to do something,
that's never a good idea. You should do it like because you want to show your inside on your outside. I think that's the same for you as well. I think. Yeah, like your alternative style is here, but you want to have it here too.
And I think it's nice also that you say that it's okay to experiment and try different things because if you don't, how can you learn? I'm
just happy that there are alternatives in the world. I don't care if they're like hip hoppers or if they're like super metal people, but like all alternative people make the world so much greater because they're people that are passionate about the style, passionate about music. It's fantastic.
So another question. Yeah. You have some traditions. People following you at social media, I can observe that you have some traditions like Black and White Friday. No. Wednesday. And some other things as well.
Yes.
Why do you keep them?
Why? Well, the Black and White Wednesday was because as a goth, I usually only feel comfortable wearing all black. And I sometimes buy clothes that are black and white, but they never get used. They're in there, in the wardrobe, crying like, when are you gonna use me? So then I decide like, I need to have one day every week when I force myself to wear black and white because these clothes also wanna live. Yeah. So that's why I have Black and White Wednesdays. Just to like simplify my life. I know Wednesdays, it's black and white, so I know. And I also have like other stupid tradition. You know, one of them, it's my boy band move of the day tradition. It's kind of a secret, but I really love like the 90s boy bands, and mainly because their dance routines is fantastic. Like they have like, you know, so every day I do in my solitude at home when no one watches, I have this boy band move of the day. Yeah, and I have quite a different kind of, I have several routines. If I name them all, you will call the men with the white coats.
Most people would get tired of it, or just...
Really? I think it's fun. It's like, I don't know, I love it.
So then you always know
and the Friday disco.
Expect.
Yeah, and Friday disco.
Yeah.
That's also a part we have in my family since I moved in with my husband. We had this Friday disco. So every Friday we put on the vinyls and listen to old vinyl records and had like just the two of us, a Friday disco. And we also have that with the kids. So we have Friday disco. It's good.
Right. I don't know if you like this question, but in social media you seem you seem quite self-confident.
Okay.
Do you have any advices on how to keep a strong sense of self?
Well, it's no plan of mine, and I would not consider myself self-confident, but I know who I am. That's not the same thing, but I actually know who I am, and I really love who I am, because I am who I am, and better love it instead of hate it. So I think, I don't know, just try to focus more on yourself instead of others. Like instead of saying like, I want what that person's got, be happy with what you got. So like I have some features of my body.
Any tricks on how to do that? Because it's quite hard. It's easy to say, but it's...
For me, it's quite easy just to like decide like it's not important what other people think. Well, I think you should start by really thinking that like you have one body and one mind and you will have it for one life. And do you really want to spend this life thinking about you the same way that others may think of you? Or do you want to spend the life loving yourself because you are worth all the love in the world?
I meant the thing about like the problem about longing for what others have.
Oh, well, make it happen then.
Yeah.
If you want something what others have, like for me, I always wanted to have very exclusive looking clothes, but I never had the money as a child. So I made my own clothes. That's what me and my friends always did. So, and I still like that. I still like to have like really buy cheap stuff and make it look more expensive than it is. But I think like try to just try to figure out why you're not worth what other people, why should you listen to what other people think about you? You should be the princess of your life, always.
Okay.
It's a difficult question to answer, really.
I know.
Yeah. Well, because for me, it's just like, it's just who I am. I don't think about it. It's just, I don't know, for me it's like basic one-on-one. Like, why don't you love yourself? Why not? Of course you should. Yeah.
It's a part of you.
Yeah, you must.
And do you have also, you have a quite youthful appearance, I would say.
For 300-year-old lady, thank you.
Yeah. As well as your appearance, I would say that your appearance and fashion is quite youthful.
Okay.
Do you have any advices for that? To really keep your mind and keep your mind in a youthful state, or is that just how you are as well?
I think that is just who I am. Actually, I'm always this happily, like my friends, they usually call me like happily naive. Like I never have a worry in the world because I always try to focus on the positive things. I always think like everything is great. And why shouldn't I? Because most of the things are great. There are always people having it worse than you, so you should always try to be happy with what you have. But to be youthful, I don't know, I think all my friends, also the ones that's in my own age, 45, they are also very like, I've known them since I was a teenager. So we are still like teenagers together. That's when we met, so we are still kind of the same people. And I don't know, I never thought about this. I never realized that when you have kids, you gotta be a grown-up all of a sudden. I never felt that. I'm still waiting for that to happen. Like, is it someone's gonna knock on your door and serve you something, reinsist something in your heart and change stuff? I don't know. But I don't know, I think it's just, I have this happy persona, and and my friends are the same. I have happy friends. Like, you're one of my happy friends, and you also keep me young. I think, like, do things that are funny, and always try to laugh and have a happy life. It makes you feel...
Surround yourself with...
great people. Friendly and sweet and lovely people. Yeah.
That helps.
Yeah, and also be very lovely and sweet yourself.
Eat a lot of gingerbread, and Sweden would say.
Ah, pepparkakor. Ah, yeah, that keeps you...
If you eat a lot of Swedish gingerbread...
Yeah, that's what they say.
You'll get kind.
Yeah.
And happy.
Exactly. Yes. Perhaps that is. I don't eat that many.
That was actually my last question.
Woohoo!
Do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, I have a question for you.
Oh no.
Can I adorify you?
What does that mean?
Can I adorify you? Can I make you into an Adora?
Of course you can.
Woo! We'll be back in a few seconds.
Not now. And this is the result.
Yeah. Look, we're twins now.
I don't know if this is creepy or cute. But thank you for watching this tiny little or very long interview, actually. If you liked it, there is another much shorter, more cinematic version of this interview. You can click the link that will be somewhere around here if you want to check it out. And this interview is part of a series of interviews that I'm doing. I'm going to meet some more interesting people as well. So if you would like to
more
see
interesting
that,
than me?
No,
don't think so.
Not more interesting, rather more interesting people. So if you would like to meet them as well, make sure to subscribe to this channel. And that was everything I had to say. Woo! Thank you for taking part.
Thank you so much for asking me. It was a pleasure. Yay!
Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you around soon.
And if you see us, give us hugs.